We hear all too often that carbon fibre, once it's damaged, needs to go in the bin, and I'm here to tell you that is not the case. And I've got a very good example of how you can remedy any sort of damage and bring it back to its former glory. So what I have in front here is a CS front splitter. This is a part that we actually produce. This is a replica of the B&W version. This particular customer had a whole host of bits and pieces damage-wise over the front splitter, but the main bulk of it actually was an impact on the front, as we can see here. So we've actually done a 50-50. We've left half as it was, and it wasn't particularly old, it must be said, but it was damaged, and the other half, from the red stripe onwards, has been refurbished. And this, I thought, would be a great example to show you what actually you should expect from a carbon fibre repair, what the possibilities are, and effectively, what is the process. So to delve straight into this one, as mentioned, this did take an impact on the front. It's got various stone chips and scratches. It actually has also been damaged on the underside, not just on the front face. So you can see there's damage here on the corner pieces, and this was pretty much identical both sides. So you'll see some overlays of the rest of this splitter with damage before we even touched it. So the whole thing was damaged. We haven't just purposely damaged certain bits of it, the whole thing was damaged. So not only do we have various scuffs and heavy gouges and scrapes, this does have a fairly big point here where we've got a split. And if I just grab my trusty screwdriver here, you can actually see I can stick that in there and it's basically delaminated. So this would be what class as an unsafe part, because over time that could split, that could delaminate completely, and you'd be left with this part shooting under your car potentially, or bits breaking off and causing all kinds of mayhem. So this needed to be repaired or thrown away, but we don't like doing that. So as a whole, we've stripped this down back to the bare carbon. That gives us a good base point where we can build things back up and renovate it. We've then effectively bonded in and rebuilt this section. So this is now smooth. There's no splits or joins as such. It's now completely smooth, and this is back to its former glory. So once it's been stripped down, we can rebuild it, not only with fresh carbon fibre, but with fresh resin and various other composites materials to make sure it's bolstered and has the strength that it needs, so it can go on a car, which obviously is going to go quite quickly at some point. So as you can see, before and after, not only is it now cosmetically looking really good, you've also got rid of a lot of hazing and so on, where just over time it might need a bit of a polish, a little bit of a wax, and just bringing back to, again, its high luster finish. So we've resolved that by giving it a nice clear coat, which gives it its UV protection, as well as looking fantastic. So that as a whole is the process of carbon fibre in terms of its repair. It is a skilled process, not everyone can do it, and if you try and sand things down and go too far, the part's ruined. You'll scuff the carbon weave, and effectively it's going to look worse than it was. So there is a very specific way of doing it, but this gives you a bit of an overview. The only thing to note with carbon fibre repair, it's almost like if you tore a hole in your t-shirt and you stitch it back together, you might know where that rip was initially, and that's a similar sort of process with carbon fibre. So where we've repaired it, it's near enough perfect. It's very, very difficult to make it look as good as new, but for the most part, this really does look fantastic, and you're not going to notice unless you're really looking closely. And even then, some things like light scratches and scuffs, even on the underside, a lot of this type of damage can actually be brought back to pretty much brand new. It's only when you get heavy splits and cracks where it makes it a bit more complicated. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. I like debunking myths. I think we're all a bit frustrated at Carbonwurks, seeing people going, I'm throwing away my new diffuser because it's got a slight split or crack on it. No, you can bring it back to its former glory. So if you have any requirements for carbon fibre repair, this is something we specialise in. Please get in touch, drop us a message, email, phone call, and we'd love to hear from you and see whether we can help you out on the carbon fibre repair. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.